I'm just going to do a quick introduction, and I think I will ask everybody, though, to also introduce themselves so that you can hear their names and put it with the faces. And as you saw from the press release, wait a minute. Okay. From the press release, joining us this morning are the Illinois State Bar Association President David Sosin. David is P-A-V-I-D, Sosin, S-O-S-I-N. We also joining us this morning are the Chicago Bar Association First Vice President, Maryam Ahmad. That's M-A-R-Y-A-M. Last name A-H-M-A-D. And Maryam, if you want to just say hello so people see you. We also have
thank you. Good morning. Good morning.
And hi there. We also have the Illinois Trial Lawyers Association President, Tony Romanucci, or Antonio is his formal name, A-N-T-O-N-I-O, Romanucci, R-O-M-A-N-U-C-C-I. And
good
we
morning,
also have
everyone.
say hi, Tony, if you want.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here.
Okay, great. Thanks, Tony. And then the immediate past president of the Illinois Trial Lawyers Association from downstate Illinois is Mark Prince. Common spelling on both, M-A-R-K-P-R-I-N-C-E. Mark Prince is the immediate past president. Say hi, Mark.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here.
Okay. And I think each of the presidents here and leaders, bar leaders, would like to make a short statement. So we're going to start, if I may, with David Sosin, as I mentioned, the current president of the Illinois State Bar Association. So David, please take it away. Thank you.
Thank you. The Illinois State Bar Association is concerned for the economic welfare of not only our members, their clients, their employees and families, but also all of the citizens of the state of Illinois. Nevertheless, the Illinois State Bar and its members steadfastly support what we call the rule of law, and its principles mandate that we now allow the leadership of our government to lead as our courts consider the issue. COVID-19 has spread chaos and death to every corner of the state. The safety of the citizens of Illinois must be dictated by science, not economics in our view. We certainly await the resolution of all relevant legal and constitutional issues by the lower courts, the appellate court, and the Supreme Court of the state of Illinois, and perhaps the federal courts. Our justices in Illinois of the Supreme Court are elected and come from all over the state. We ensure that they will examine these issues and do what's best for the citizens, applying the Constitution of the state of Illinois. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Okay, next we're then going to be hearing from, as I mentioned, Chicago Bar Association First Vice President. She'll be taking over next month, is Maryam Ahmad.
Correct. Thank you. That's right. Maryam Ahmad, you said it correctly. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here today. The Chicago Bar Association is comprised of approximately 20,000 lawyers and judges. We represent individuals from every aspect of life, and we represent individuals in every practice area of law. We are concerned and dedicated to the health and welfare of our membership and those attorneys and judges who practice not only throughout the legal system in Cook County and in Illinois, but also the court system. Our attorneys represent clients from diverse walks of life who come from every corner of not only Chicago and Cook County, but Northern Illinois, Mid-Illinois, and also Southern Illinois. And so as an organization of lawyers and jurists, we support the governor in his efforts to protect and maintain the safety and well-being of not just the residents of Illinois, but those who practice in the legal community. We also respect and advocate for the rule of law, as we are concerned about having a society based in anarchy and also disrespectful of the principles that govern the running of our government. Thank you.
Thank you, Maryam. I'm next going to ask for Tony Romanucci. As I mentioned, Antonio Romanucci, President of the Illinois Trial Lawyers Association. Tony, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, and good morning, everybody. As Pam stated, my name is Antonio Romanucci. I'm currently the President of the Illinois Trial Lawyers Association, and soon you'll be hearing from Mark Prince, who was the immediate past president of the Illinois Trial Lawyers Association. Most people, when they think of Illinois trial lawyers, they think of lawsuits and litigation. And yes, that is something that we do. But in this instance here, we are advocating actually against litigation. We want our state to follow the governor's executive orders so that there is a limitation of litigation as opposed to any potential litigation here. We are advocating for health and safety, the welfare of our citizens, so that by not reopening, we are not exposing ourselves to any greater risk of infection that we have right now. As we see, our numbers are increasing on a daily basis. We're not decreasing. We're not seeing that flattening of the curve that we were expecting. It would be absolutely negligent. It would be incomprehensible for any municipality or any business to follow a municipality in opening right now and exposing either employees or the general public to any greater risk of infection than we have by maintaining social distancing. That's the rule right now. That's the rule that should be followed. And we leave it up to the courts to decide when it's appropriate to reopen. We are not here to judge. We are not here to rule on the law. We are here to follow the law and ensure that we don't have a second worse wave of reinfection where we have to do this all over again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tony. And lastly, we're then going to turn to Mark Prince. As I mentioned, he is a lawyer in downstate Marion, Illinois, and the immediate past president of the Illinois Trial Lawyers Association. Mark?
Thanks, Pam. Again, my name is Mark Prince. I practice law in Marion, Illinois. Marion is in Williamson County. Williamson County is in far, far southern Illinois. We're about 30 minutes from Paducah, Kentucky. We're still in Illinois, but barely. So we're in deep southern Illinois. Today I've been asked to share a few thoughts about Governor Pritzker's executive order requiring us to shelter at home. Tony has, as our current president, has laid out how we view it as an organization. As immediate past president, by the way, my year was much easier than Tony's year this year. But I've been asked to say a few things. I got just a few thoughts. I'll be brief. My first thought is that this should not be a political issue. This is not a red versus blue issue. This is not a Republican versus Democrat issue, not an us versus them. The coronavirus is not political. It will infect you regardless of what tribe you claim to be part of. This is, as Tony said, this is a public health and safety issue. Politics aren't a part of this. So setting that aside, if we look at the executive order, the purpose of that is to protect us. It's to promote the entire safety of our entire state. It imposes hardships equally on everybody. Some more so than others, granted, but so does the coronavirus. These are quite unusual times, calling for quite unusual measures to protect ourselves. It's done to protect the entire state. If we rely on the scientists to guide us through this, we will all come through this together as safely as possible. We all agree, even one death is one death too many. My second thought goes to the issue of geography. Geography does not protect us from the coronavirus. Just because I'm in rural southern Illinois with a much less dense population, it doesn't mean we're safe. It doesn't mean we're in a better shape than Cook County or Kane or Lake County or Sangamon County or any other county in the state of Illinois. Every county has been impacted. Every county has citizens diagnosed with COVID-19. Most counties, unfortunately, have had people die from this. We are all in this together. Yesterday, there was a report in the local newspaper that Union County, it's a county, one county south of me, even more rural than Williamson County. They made the list as the fourth highest county with the infection rate on a per capita basis, right behind Cook County, Lake County, and Kane County. No matter where we are in the state, we're not safe from this virus. We all have to work together to follow the governor's executive order. I echo also what Tony said. When we get to the point to reopen, let's just do it once. Let's not reopen prematurely, have a spike in cases, more deaths, have to shut down and go through this cycle again. We don't need that. That will cause even more economic hardship. And, as importantly, it's going to cause a lot of mental hardship, mental stress, mental discomfort. So we all need to pull together on this. That's the position of the Illinois Trial Lawyers Association. And as much as we believe in having full access to the courts, we're also cognizant of the fact that litigation does not solve every problem. Litigation will not solve this problem. Thank you.
Mark, thank you very much. Okay, we will field questions from anybody from the press. I have muted everybody. I believe people should know how to unmute themselves. I could unmute everybody, but do we have any questions for
information flooding the web? Good video.
Okay, I'm going to mute everybody again.
Oh my God.
Everybody, as I say, can unmute themselves. And do we have any questions then for any of the speakers here, any of the bar leaders?
I do. I have a question.
Is this Dana?
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, Dana.
Excuse
You
my.
want to identify yourself for purposes
Sure.
of the bar leaders. Thank you, Dana.
Yep, you bet. Excuse my lovely attire at the moment. I'm Dana Kozlov with CBS 2 News. I guess my question. We saw what happened in Wisconsin yesterday, where this went all the way to the Supreme Court, the issue of the governor's power. And, when it comes to this executive order to stay at home, the Supreme Court in Wisconsin ruling, basically overriding the governor. Not all counties are following, but that aside, are we on track, as far as you know, in the state of Illinois for this issue to get to the Illinois Supreme Court? And if it did, where do you think the justices might stand, as I'm not familiar with this aspect of the law?
Okay, the speakers, make sure, please, that you are unmuted. Is that directed, Dana, to anybody who wants to address that?
Yeah, anybody who wants to take it away.
Maybe I can take a shot at that first. I think what happened in Wisconsin is really what we don't want to see happen here in Illinois. We don't need this issue to go to a Supreme Court. I can't understand why an issue of social welfare, of health, of life and death has to be decided by our Supreme Court. And what we saw happen in Wisconsin, I think, is exactly what Mark Prince indicated, and that it became a political issue there. The 4 conservative justices voted against the Democratic governor there, which is what we don't want here. And I don't think it will happen here, because I would think that Illinois is a lot better than being a politicized state, than voting along red or blue grounds. So the prediction of what will happen here in Illinois, I don't know that. I can't make that prediction. What I do know is that this current EO expires on May 30th. So as of May 31st, our social distancing guidelines should change unless the EO gets extended. We don't have that much time left on it. Are you telling me that what we've endured now for the past 65 days, we can't endure now for another 12 or 13 days in order to get over this hump so that we don't have to go through another round of social distancing or economic shutdown again? I don't buy that.
Thank you. Anyone else want to weigh in?
David Sosin from the Illinois State Bar. We have, just like Tony's association, we have members in every county in the state, and there are differences. But when you look at the differences on a per capita basis, they're certainly not as striking as Mark mentioned as you'd think. Some of the small counties have larger per capita incidences, and we're not counting numbers. These are lives. We are not Wisconsin. Our Supreme Court is not the Wisconsin Supreme Court. I hope we don't operate like that in Illinois. There are matters that are winding through the courts, and while we certainly hope this matter would be resolved without litigation, ultimately we feel there is litigation already. The Supreme Court has asked the appellate court to review this. I'm sure it'll go to the Supreme Court very expeditiously, and ultimately whatever legal matters have to be resolved will be resolved by the Supreme Court, not by politics, but by health issues, the science, and our Constitution.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Do we have any other questions from any of the other press members who are on? Keeping in mind that you're muted.
This is Craig Dellamore with WBBM Radio. And I guess I want to follow up a little bit with what both of the attorneys just said, which is that this is a health issue being determined by courts, but there are still court cases, as Mr. Sosin said, still going. And does that say something about our justice system that an issue that is life and death can come down to philosophical, can be decided because someone is saying, well, the governor didn't have the legal authority to do this, so go back to square one. And that could have life and death consequences. What recourse do people have to protect themselves from this kind of a ruling being politicized?
There is a history in this country and all over the world that when crises occur, there is not an answer for every crisis that could ever be imagined. It takes leadership. It takes an interpretation of our laws in light of the circumstances, and that's what courts do. Courts are not blind to what is going on, and certainly the protection of life. Every one of the justices, every one of the lawyers in Illinois, and every one of these public officials took an oath to support the Constitution. The Constitution has a lot of language in it that deals with the welfare of our population. That's what they're going to follow. I hope that answers your question.
Mr. Dellamore, this is Maryam Ahmad of the Chicago Bar Association. I would like to add to David's point. The governor is the elected leader of our people, not only during favorable times, but times of crisis. And I look at the recent New York Times article from yesterday indicating that 84,874 individuals have tested positive for COVID-19 and have been diagnosed with a case of COVID-19 in the state of Illinois, resulting in 3,815 deaths. And yesterday, I believe the statistic in the Chicago Tribune was that Illinois saw in one day a total of 192 deaths total. So it is clear that this is a medical issue, a health issue, and must be decided based on science. not emotion, as David and Tony indicated. And the justices are aware of these matters too, just like the citizens and residents of the state of Illinois are.
Thank you very much, Maryam. Okay, then I hope we've answered everybody's questions. And I appreciate the bar leaders for taking the time to explain this very important issue to the press. And thank you very much for your time and attention, and we hope you have a wonderful day. Bye now.